Why do people get hacked? I'm going to cover 10 basic principles of why people get hacked. The first one is going to be trusting others. Trusting others with your passwords is not a good thing. If you do, make sure that everybody has their own account to do their responsibilities. If you share an email from the company, make sure you have multi-factor authentication. If you share a password for your cell phone or your email or some kind of online account, make sure you change that password immediately after that person finishes that work that they were doing. Because even though if that person was not necessarily the one responsible for you being hacked, that may expose you because you don't know if that person may have you logged in some other browser that you don't use where somebody else can access it. The second point is not being educated in cybersecurity. That can be a reason why people get hacked, because think about it. We are all involved in this. This is not about just people in cybersecurity that should know about how to prevent it. Since you and I and everybody you know nowadays, we can avoid it. We all use smartphones, we all use computers, we all use the internet, Wi-Fi, networks, and everything is connected. I myself use podcasts. I listen to CyberWire. There's a bunch others that I don't remember the top of my head. I have a long list of podcasts that I listen to. You can receive email updates. You can subscribe to this channel so you can avoid being totally unaware on how to prevent being hacked by subscribing to CybersecurityCoffee. The third point is social engineering. Social engineering is another reason why people get hacked. And social engineering is when there's many ways on doing this. It could be in a position, somebody that tries to disguise themselves in a position of authority. They walk into a building, into a bank with this suit and tie, and they have this demeanor of authority, and everybody believes he or she is the boss, and they start telling the security guard or somebody else, I gotta get into the vault. And believe me, it has happened in real life. So social engineering is a big deal. You gotta be aware. You cannot be naive into just believing anybody into telling you what to do, or somebody could be disguised as being part of the team. It could be somebody wearing a uniform from FedEx, UPS, or any other company. These are just examples. I'm not saying that they do that, but people, it has happened in real life. Even people wearing those uniforms trying to get into your house when they were not real people working for those companies, trying to steal your information, trying to gather information from you, steal something from your house, jewelry, money, etc. And that's a way of also getting into your information. If some of the times they want to get your date of birth, your social security number, they can be disguised through the phone, by email. May get that email from Nigeria that it says, I'm Prince so-and-so, and I was left out in the army, and my father, I had lost contact with him, and I need to get back with him, and if you help me get back with my tribe of kings, I will compensate you with $100 million or whatever. That's all a lie. So people, believe me, still fall for that these days. So please don't be a victim of that. Fourth, using free Wi-Fi. This is another reason why people get hacked. If you use free Wi-Fi, like in Starbucks, in a coffee shop, at the hospital, anywhere you go, free Wi-Fi with no passwords, most likely you're gonna get hacked. And the reason why is that since it's a free Wi-Fi, anything that you do is not encrypted, unless you use something called VPN. And let me go into a little bit of encryption. Encryption is when the information that you're using is covered with a code that not other people outside of it can see it. So there's different types of encryption. We don't need to go into the technical part of that yet, but a way of using free Wi-Fi and not being hacked or not being seen what information you are using is by using VPNs. And I recommend you to, if you're somebody that's constantly on the go, traveling, if you work in recruiting, if you work in sales and you use the Wi-Fi at Starbucks, etc., and you don't want the company's information or your personal information to be out there, I recommend you to please start using VPNs because it's going to save you some trouble. So a fifth point of why people get hacked is not using a password manager. If you're not using a password manager, you got to start doing it as soon as possible, because if you use one of those regular passwords, all your date of birth, your daughter's date of birth, your mom's date of birth, or something like that, or your one of those easy passwords, or you have it written down somewhere, you got to stop doing that, please, and start using a password manager, because that will help you give you a really hard, difficult password, long, like 15 characters or more, which is going to make it more difficult for a hacker to get into your accounts or systems. Okay. The sixth reason for being hacked could be because not logging off and clearing the history and cache. If you use a computer at the library, at your somebody else's computer, at your work or something else, you need to please log off. And then after you log off, make sure you clear the history and the cache, because that's going to avoid the next person who uses the computer to get into your account. Or not necessarily that person, but somebody else with bad intention. The seventh point is leaving your Bluetooth Wi-Fi antenna on when not in use. If you're walking around to a Starbucks, to anywhere in the public, and you're not using you don't need Wi-Fi and you don't need your Bluetooth, please turn it off, because you can get hacked through your Bluetooth and through your Wi-Fi antenna in your cell phone and in your laptop computer. So just turn it off, please. At eighth point, using unreliable extensions. Using unreliable extensions in your browser can lead to being vulnerable to attacks. So please make sure that you remove all those extensions that you don't use, and it's going to help you not being hacked. If you need to use some extension in your browser for a week or two, just use it in that meantime, but then after you're done, just remove it. Because if you have a bunch of extensions that you don't use, that's going to be a really high chance for making you a target. Ninth, giving your account, your credit card, to strangers. If you're traveling to some other city that you normally don't travel to, I recommend you to please go to the ATM first and withdraw the cash there first, and use that cash at that restaurant or that location that you're going to. Because if you don't normally frequent that city or that location or neighborhood or whatever, that credit card has a higher chance of being hacked or being stolen, the information of it, not necessarily physically, but it can be stolen, the information, by having a device or a USB drive or software planted into the device where you swipe that credit card. So it's not necessarily the fault of the waiter or the waitress, but maybe somebody who planted that in that device. And 10 is not changing the default username and password of all your devices. You must change the default password of all your devices, online accounts as well. If you buy a router for your home because you want to save money not paying the rental router to the internet service provider, you must change the default username and password. And I recommend you do that with the password manager. That's going to make it more difficult for the hacker to get into your system. If you don't do this, you are going to be hacked almost guaranteed. You must change your default username and passwords. I believe this is the #1 reason why people get hacked, besides going into Starbucks and using their free Wi-Fi and stuff like that, you need to use a VPN there. Again, I'm repeating myself. So don't go using free Wi-Fi like that without using VPN, because you can get hacked easily like that. VPN is encryption and nobody can see your information if it's encrypted like that. So that's mainly it for now. I wish you a lot of good things. Thank you for your time and thank you for watching this. Please share with other people who may use this information, like your co-workers, your veterans, your military friends, the people that work in sales who are traveling around. Anybody who may need this, please share this video with them.